Well, hi, neighbor Al here. I'm back after a 1,500-mile little 2-week tour through the Northeast United States talking to other cider makers, both large and small. I am still at work planning to expand to become a legal licensed cider maker. And all that takes work. Now, during this trip, I had the pleasure of meeting with Peter Mitchell from Headwater Cider. And Peter recently got what's called a bright tank. A bright tank is a large pressurized refrigerated container that is used to chill and then carbonate cider, so you get that really nice mouthfeel to the cider. It's the way to do large quantities at once. He'll say it's a jacketed tank, and what that means is it's fully insulated. But Peter does a brilliant job of talking about the challenges he faced getting a cooler. We use glycol as the refrigerant, heat transfer fluid. He found one small enough, and what he found was that he actually could use a beer line cooler. Next time you go to the bar and they're pulling a tap, what you might not realize is sometimes those kegs are off in a distant part of the building, and all of the hoses run through one big hose that is chilled, and that keeps the beer cold on the way to the taps. You don't end up with warm beer at the end of a long hose. He found a glycol cooler, a fractional horsepower that runs on standard 115. He didn't need a 240 volt plug. That met his requirements of how long it would take to chill, and it works. So this is Pete telling you about what it took for him to come up with this solution. So take it away, Pete.
Hello, I'm Pete Mitchell from Headwater Cider, and I now have a bright tank here. This is a 10 barrel, so about 275, 300 gallon working capacity. And the whole purpose of this thing is to put controlled carbonation into your cider. You can do bottle conditioning, but I think this is far more controllable into the amount of bubbles you're going to have. And people love their bubbles. Now, this is fully jacketed because you have to drop the temperature of your cider. I'm working at about 34 degrees Fahrenheit, so just above freezing. Because of Henry's law constant, you know how much CO2 you can actually put into your cider at a given temperature and pressure. Now, to chill it, I needed some way to drop the temperature of the cider here. Now, you can get real large chillers which will do like 10 tons capacity, and those are great if you've got a lot of big tanks, you're a really big operation. But I needed a smaller chiller, and to do that I purchased this UBC half horsepower. Now, this is not a three-phase unit. It'll work on regular household current. It's a 15 amp draw on it, and this unit comes with a description of feet. It will chill a 250 foot run. What does that mean? So this would sit outside, say, a cooler in a restaurant where all the beer kegs are, and these lines will cool a 250 foot run up to the taps and back again, so that beer out of the tap remains nice and cool. Now, I know how many watts this uses, and so I can factor in how many BTUs of chilling this will put out, because in terms of dropping the temperature, they want to know BTUs. Also, to operate it, I have, you can see up here, a small thermostat, and so I can set this thermostat when this is in operation to a given temperature, and a plus or minus a half degree, plus or minus 1 degree, and it'll maintain the temperature in here. Otherwise, that chiller is going to run 24/7, and I'll end up with a 300 gallon ice cube. Thank you very much. I hope this helps in terms of a small operation and modifying chillers for bright tanks.